Hello folks, it's Chris back at it again outside today on this gorgeous January day. So figured it'd be a good time to start the fire and do a little bit of rock cooking for dinner. We're going to do some salmon on slate. I got a big piece of slate about 1.5 inches thick off the job site. Just came out of the ground. All I did was scrub it off with some water. Like I said, we're going to get us a campfire going, let it burn down the coals, lather up this bad boy with some oil really good, slap a few pieces of salmon on there. We're going to have ourselves a delicious meal. So stick with me and I'll show you how we do it. Okay, so we got the fire essentially where we need it. It's burnt down enough. I'm gonna go ahead and get the rock, oil it up, and let it heat up for quite a few minutes before we start. You're gonna want to use a little bit of precaution when you're doing this. This is the first time I've used this particular rock. So if there's any moisture or anything like that, you're gonna know about it real quick, because you're gonna get a lot of popping, cracking, and it could even possibly blow apart. So just stand back and be careful. I'm going to oil this thing graciously. Just kind of dab it in. You don't really want to wipe it too much or you're going to get paper towel residue all over your rock. Alright, so actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and stir up our fire a little bit. Break up some of these coals. Now, from what I learned from experience by doing this a few times, you don't really necessarily want to put the rock directly on the coal bed, or you're going to smother it and your coals will just, you know, die out really quick. So if you can, you want to let a little bit of air get to your coals. So I usually, I have this big piece right here to be able to set the rock on, and it'll keep it from smothering my coals too much. Or you can always take 2 big splits on each end of your rock. I'll set it straight on there, just like that. Alright, and what I meant by air underneath your rock, you see, you want to leave enough room for air to pass. That way your coals won't smother out. It'll keep them good and hot for quite a few hours. This coal bed here will still be well hot after the fish is done. So like I said, it's better to go big at first. That way we don't have to add coal, or we don't have to add wood while we're trying to cook. Alright, so that's that. We're going to let that rock heat up, and like I said, it may sizzle, pop, and crack for a few minutes, but once it gets heated up, it'll stabilize. So now we can go ahead and prep the fish, go ahead and season it up. Alright guys, and I'm not doing anything fancy today. It's just going to be a quick meal. I just have salmon, fresh salmon, and I'm going to just use Old Bay blackened seasoning. Heavy. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to do this with the camera in one hand and season in the other. And that's pretty much all we're going to do. We're just going to season it up. Alright, that's it. That's pretty much all I'm going to do. I consider that heavy seasoning. Maybe you don't. So you do that to your preference, but that's pretty much all I'm going to do. So once that rock heats up, we're going to be ready to go. Okay, so real quick, while we're waiting for the rock to heat up, I wanted to show you, this is an old one. This is a slate rock similar to the one that we're using now. The only difference is this is used. I've actually probably cooked about a dozen ribeye steaks on this, maybe half a dozen strips of salmon, just like we're doing today. And from oiling them up consistently, you know, you oil these up just the same way as you would like a cast iron skillet, right? So from what I've noticed, if you can tell, we've been kind of building somewhat of a seasoning on the top of this cooking surface here. So it pretty much, this is essentially non-stick. If we were to use this here, you could probably, I don't know about an egg non-stick, but as far as steaks and fish, stuff like that, it works really, really great. You just have to break it in, just like you normally would a skillet. So that's pretty interesting. For me, anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. But the only problem is, you can see this one was dropped, unfortunately, and broke. Oh, that's a green spider right there. Check him out. Stuck my finger right on him. You're a star now, spider. Maybe one day. But anyway, so that's why I got a new rock, the one that we're heating up down there. It's much bigger and I can fit more on it. This thing here, I can still use it, but I can only fit about one steak on it. So I went ahead and got a new one, but, you know, so I wanted to show you, you know, the potential of rock cooking. You can potentially season a rock just like a skillet. So we'll use this particular rock down here multiple times. We'll use it maybe a dozen times. We'll get some, you know, different meals out of it, and we'll track the progression. So hopefully we can season ourselves a rock. We're gonna give it a few more minutes to heat up, and then we'll be ready to cook some fish. But I just wanted to show you, you can drastically see the difference now. I know the oil is on there and it's really shiny, but the new rocks are just more shiny in general, and once you season them in, they dull out. Once again, sort of like a cast iron skillet, right? Okay, so we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll be ready to put some fish on. Okay, so it's been about 10-15 minutes, and I'll zoom in on the little crevice of this rock here. Give you a general idea how, if you can see that oil. You can see that oil bubbling up. Yeah, that shows up really good. That's just pretty much how I tell when the rock's hot enough. When we put the fish on, we want it to sizzle. We don't want to put it on the rock cold. Preheat it again like you would a cast iron skillet. So I think we're ready to go ahead and start getting some fish on. And I'm gonna go skin up first. We're gonna go ahead and go skin up first. And it's not quite as hot as I wanted it. Well, maybe because that piece is lifted up. But off the coals, should be a little bit hotter in the center. We could have let it heat up maybe a couple more minutes, but I think this will do. Okay, a couple more pieces. Okay, there we go. So that worked out just perfect. Probably even get one more piece if we had it. So we're just gonna give that however long. How long do you think it's going to need to cook on that?
Probably 7 minutes, 6 to 7 minutes on each side.
So I'm guessing maybe approximately 10 minutes on this side. We'll come back and check it out. Alright, so one thing I would recommend is just to keep up on your coal bed. Keep everything underneath the rock. Keep your heat where it needs to be. Mix it up every once in a while, let air get through there, and keep your coals nice and hot. So we're about 5 minutes in. As you can see, the fish is starting to change color underneath. So we're going to let it cook for a few more minutes. Looking good so far. Alright, so we might be ready to flip probably this one in the middle. You can see how the white's pretty much at least halfway up, so whoop. Guess I should have got underneath of it a little bit better. There we go. A couple of these are a little bit thicker. Maybe that one on the end I'll leave. Maybe that one needs a couple more minutes, but I'm going to go ahead and flip that one. It's going to be easier to do it without the camera, but I just at least wanted to show you the first flip. Man, it smells really good. So I'll go ahead and flip the other one. Yeah, they're really thick, so we're going to give it a few more minutes, and then we'll come back and check on them. Alright, so let's go ahead and flip the rest of these fish. There we go. That one looked really good. Last one. There we go. Man, they're looking good. See if I can get you in there. That one's got a nice little crust on it. I didn't explain that earlier, but that's kind of what the rock does. If you grill, if you grill a steak, you get that charred crust on the outside, that grill crust. We all know that signature grill crust. But the rock, it's a different type of crust. It's not as charry. It's kind of hard to explain. It's more of a smoked crust, I guess. You just have to try it out, man. I recommend you try it. Fish is turning out looking really good so far. So we're gonna give it at least probably another 10 minutes. I like my fish well done, especially my salmon. So like I said, 10 more minutes, we'll come back and check on it. Alright, so we lost daylight, but that's no problem. Give you a little bit of light, and you can see kind of sort of what they look like. I'll get them off the rock and get them inside. I just usually use a fork, stick it in there, and once the meat starts flaking apart, that's how I tell when they're done. So, as I said, we'll get them inside and end this bad boy. Okay, so about after 20 minutes of cooking, that is salmon on a rock. And I'll try to get in there, give you a good view. We lost daylight out there. Like I was saying, just check it, get in there. Once the meat flakes apart like it is right now, that's pretty much what I look for. And as you can see, I got me a side salad. This is going to be dinner tonight. So that's pretty much it. Fish on a rock. Alright, so thank you again for joining me on another video. It turned out to be another great success. And I just want to give you guys a big thank you for the support. If you want to see more, please like, comment as always, and most of all, subscribe. And I'll be back with another one as soon as I can. Thank you.